Hey, everybody, it's Mike Dooley of Tut.com. Super honored to have so many guests here today. Welcome back to our members, our founding members. This is the third Thursday of the month, and every Thursday we meet, we do something a little bit different. And today we're having our first ever guest from the outside world. And boy, does he come from outside worlds. Matt Fraser is who's on deck today. He is a New York Times bestselling author of 4 books. This is his brand newest book, Don't Wait Till You're Dead, Spirit's Advice from the Afterlife. Let's just go straight into this. Matt, are you there? Do we have Matt Fraser in the house?
Great to be here.
Hey, wow, what a thrill to see your very famous face. Thank you for the great work you do in the world. You're all over social media, TV, and oh my gosh, now you're on the Mike Dooley Network. So thank you for finding the time to be with us. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Seeing dead people, but other than that, life is normal. But I guess you can't complain when you're a medium because, listen, the souls come to me all day, every day.
Yeah, that must be such a wild experience. And that's something that we're going to talk about today. I thought I would just begin with the very basics and kind of cut through all else because your time is precious and we're really grateful that you're here. So the plan, of course, for everybody watching right now is that you and I are going to chat. We're going to learn about your craft, your skill. If at any time during our conversation you have a drop-in from the spirit world, by all means share. This is really your hour. Share whatever you want to share. I do want to ask you about some of my favorite chapters in your new book. And then to round out the hour, we're going to bring a couple of our members and or attendees up to see if you can answer their questions, pick up anything from beyond the veil. Does that sound like a plan?
Oh, yeah, I'm excited.
All right. We are excited. Let me organize my monitor here. You are a prince, brother. Glad you're here. I'm going to ask the most basic question of all, Matt, which kind of maybe puts everything into context. And my work is that of a spiritual teacher as well, and I have my connections not nearly as evident or fast as your connections, but for the sake of our audience, I want to ask first and foremost, why are we here in what I call these sacred jungles of time and space?
Well, you know what it is? That's a really good question because that's what we're meant to be finding out, right? The reason why we're here on Earth is different for every single person. When you're born here in this world, you are born with certain talents, skills, and abilities that's given to you by God to help change the world in some way, big or small. So, for example, there is a life purpose for you. And here on Earth is all about coming as close to that life purpose, figuring out that life purpose, understanding that life purpose to the best of your ability. And what I want you to know is that your life purpose actually changes over time. And what's really amazing is that you're not meant to find your life purpose alone. You are given a guardian angel, a spirit guide, and you also have loved ones in heaven that are watching over you that are really helping you to find your path and really go down the road that God has for you. And what I can tell you is this, is that here on Earth, you might not think that you're changing the world, but you are. And what I mean by that is that there's all different types of life purposes. You might be meant to be you might be meant to do something really big. Like, for example, be a doctor that goes and saves people's lives. Or you might be doing something on a smaller level. Like, for example, and you might think this is small, I don't, but being a school teacher, right? Teaching children that go on to be a catalyst in the world. So what I want people to know is that no matter what you're doing, no matter where you are in life, no matter what person that you touch, you're somehow changing the world. And we don't realize what this is or how we're doing this until we die and we go to the other side. When we pass on and when we leave this world, we see exactly the reason why we're alive, the reason why we're placed here, why we have talents and skills that other people don't, and what we were supposed to do with them and what we did do with them without us even knowing.
Which brings to mind a chapter in your book that was really intriguing. And for the benefit of those who have not yet read your book, the most recent one, Don't Wait Till You're Dead. That begs the question, why? And chapter 5, you listed advice from the dearly departed who want you to avoid regrets. So can you speak to that? What can we find out now? Where should we be poking around to zero in on either the lessons or the purpose, or are they one and the same?
Well, I think it's really starting by asking yourself a question. What were your dreams, talents, and goals that you gave up on? What are your dreams, talents, and goals, or life goals, that you think that you're not going to fulfill? That's the reason why I wrote Don't Wait Till You're Dead, because there's so many people that will come to me that will say to me, Matt, it's too late. I haven't found my soulmate now. I'm not going to find my soulmate ever. I'm taking a break. I'm not going to date anybody. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm too old. It's past my time. I already had a career. I already did this. We are our own worst enemies as humans because we make excuses, we block ourselves, we don't believe in ourselves. And the thing is this, as a medium, what's so amazing about what I do is that I see the behind the scenes of people's lives. And what I mean by that is that you're never too old. It's never too late. There's always something that you can be taken advantage of. For example, Martha Stewart just broke ground in her career and started her career at 50 years old is when she started Martha Stewart Living. And look at how amazing she is now. Look at how we have her. I don't even know how old she is. I think she's 70-something, 80 years old. And she was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Come on. The thing is that she believes in herself, right? And people around her believe in her. And what I want everyone to know that's watching here right now, I see Jessica is here and Mary's here. And I see all you guys with your comments. I want you guys to know that it's never too late. If you give up on something, if there's something that you wish that you would have done and you're like, oh, I wish I would have done this. Oh, I wish that I just could go back in time. You don't have to go back in time. You can do this right now. And what I also want people to know is that as you're going through life, it's a journey and a process, right? And do I think that Martha Stewart, back when she was younger, would have been able to have the success she had when she was 50 years old? Absolutely not. Sometimes things don't work out in our time frame, but they work out in heaven's time frame. For example, that's pretty cool. I also saw recently that there was a woman who came to my event and she had said to me, Matt, she says, I followed your advice. She goes, I've been listening to you for years. She goes, I decided to go back out into date, and she found her soulmate at 70 years old, and they got married at 70 years old. And they're doing more in their life than I think that me and my own wife are doing, right? They're catching up on all these past years. Their kids are both grown. They don't have any responsibilities like bills or anything. They're both retired. So they're traveling the world. They're road tripping. They're doing all of these things that, even though they met each other later on in life, it's in these few short years, they've done more than most couples have done in 10 or 15 years. So what I really want everyone to know is that these are the things that the souls regret. When souls have regret, it's that they go to the other side and they say, oh, I wish I would have known. I wish I wouldn't have put limits on myself. And that's their biggest regret. And that's really what the book is all about.
Gosh, that's so beautiful. And I can speak to this as a late blooming first-time dad. My daughter was born at 53. She's 10. Do the math. And my career as well didn't even know what I was starting until I was 40. And it has exceeded every expectation. And in both of those tracks, romantically and career-wise, had I not had the decades ahead of time on my training wheels to figure out who I really was, I never could have had the wherewithal, the insights, the patience, the confidence to continue on. And speaking of well-known success stories, and there's so many a rose blooms unknown, but Louise Hay, the founder of Hay House, she didn't self-publish her first book until she was 60. And then she lived into her 90s and was a rocking light and beacon of hope for so many people, ballroom dancing until the very end, with the lessons that her earlier decades made possible to bloom when she bloomed. It's never too late to bloom. That's so wonderful. Thank you for sharing of that. I feel your electric energy, Matt. I think that's the, when we have this energy pouring through like it's coming through you right now, and I feel my own excitement, that sometimes leads to technical glitches. So thank you, everybody, again, for bearing with us for those first 5 or so minutes. And by the way, everybody, if you've got a question for Matt, you think there's a connection that could be made for you, post in the comments. There is a team behind the scenes, and we'll be able to bring several of you who are not camera shy, and that is a requirement, onto the platform here so that you can have a short exchange with Matt. Before we get there, though, Matt, could you quantify, if you will, what some of the top lessons are for our lives in space, our lives in time and space? Clearly one of them would be not giving up, not setting limits, like you just said. Are there other major recurring themes, be they patience or forgiveness, or what do you see as showing up like, man, there it is again, so that we can start, shining a light on it in our own lives so that we don't wait till we're dead?
Well, I actually just taught a class on this, and I think the biggest thing is letting go, right? And when I talk about letting go, I'm not talking about letting go of a loved one who had died. I'm talking about letting go of the energy that's not yours. How many times were you screwed over in the past and you're holding a grudge? How many times has it happened where somebody promised you something and didn't follow through? How many times has it happened where you've had a fallout, right? And you're so upset with that person, you're holding on to anger, you're holding on to hurt, you're holding on to past pain. Let it go. Because the thing is that as humans, we're really good with this. We compartmentalize. When we have an issue with someone, when someone does us wrong, when someone hurts us, when someone takes advantage of us, we hold on to grudges. And really what holding on to grudges is you holding on to someone else's energy that's not your own. And really, the moral of the story is don't let evil change you. Don't let evil people change you. Don't let evil energy change you. Don't let evil change who you are. And I know people are probably saying in the chat, like, well, how did I do this? I never let evil change me. No, you have. And I'm going to tell you how. For example, and this happens a lot with love. You may have met somebody within your life that you loved and cared for and let in and opened your heart up to. And the next thing you know, they took advantage of you. They lied to you. They cheated on you. They abused you, right? Then you break free from that relationship and you're like, you know what? I don't want to be in another relationship again. That's it. I was with this person. I opened myself up. I was vulnerable. I did everything that I was supposed to do. And this person lied, cheated, and stole from me. And you're like, I'm all set with relationships. Well, guess what? You let that person win. You let that evil person who came into your life win because now you're blocking yourself from finding true love. The thing is how many of you here in the chat have had that situation happen? My Belle is saying, yes, she has. How many of you have had that situation happen where somebody has gone and taken advantage of you, screwed you over? For example, you did something nice for someone, right? And then next thing you know, they totally took advantage and you're like, you know what? That's it. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not donating to the homeless man down the corner because he went and bought drugs with my money. I'm not going and helping that person over there because I literally helped them and they screwed me over. And it's like that saying goes, no good deed goes unpunished, right? Well, when we go and we say, listen, I'm not doing this anymore, we change the person that we are because of an evil experience or an evil person that we came in contact with. So don't let evil change you. That's really what it's about. Because anytime you do good for somebody, even if they don't appreciate it, even if they don't appreciate it, even if they take advantage of you, whatever it may be, there's something known as the good karma piggy bank. And what that is that all the good karma that you have in your life, all the good karma that you do for other people, even when somebody doesn't realize that you're helping them, they actually go all that good karma goes into the good karma piggy bank, and when you need it, that energy comes back for you. So don't stop being who you are. Love unconditionally. Open your heart up. Forgive the people who don't even deserve your forgiveness. Because when you do that, you do something that's really amazing. When you really, and I want everyone to listen to me right now, when you release a burden, when you release a grudge, when you forgive someone, right, you actually send that energy back to them. Don't hold on to anyone else's negative energy. If somebody left hurt or pain or worry within you, send it back to them. let it go back to them. Don't let anyone else's energy live within you. Make sense?
That's so good. And I can look back at my life where there were times that it was so hard to let go. And I can remember after one particular heartbreak, I remember being angry, and it went on for almost a year. And so while Matt says let it go, there could not be better advice. It doesn't have to be like night and day. Suddenly it's done. Just keep working on letting it go. And the best way to do that is to look forward, start something new, begin practicing your trust, flexing your trust muscles. And the day will come when you look back and you're like, man, for me in that relationship, it's like I escaped with my life. But I was angry for a year not letting go of it. Had I not let go of it, it would have taken me down. So don't expect, instantaneous release. In fact, the pain may always be there, but it'll become more distant in the rearview mirror of your life to the point it's like, what? I escaped. Thank God. That was a high price to pay, but I'm more for it. Matt, what about purpose? You've got a chapter on purpose. You checked all the boxes. Finding one's purpose, and why does it matter? I love that.
Well, why it matters is this, is that when you align with your purpose, doors open for you. And sometimes we don't realize what our purpose is. And it's actually very easy to figure out your life purpose. But like I said, it changes over time. So I want to give you an example of how this works. I have two close friends of mine, Bev and Gail. They were two teachers in Fall River, Massachusetts. So they were school teachers, loved their job, touched many children's lives. That was part of their life purpose and part of their plan, right? They were amazing teachers. They worked with special education and special needs children. They worked with families. They just are phenomenal people. And then after years and years and years of being school teachers, they retired and they said, now what? Now what do we do, right? Our life purpose is done. Well, don't you know that one day they were out with one of their friends and they were like, hey, we're trying to get an animal shelter going in Fall River, Massachusetts. They're like, why don't you go and, come on the board and volunteer? And they're like, shit, we're retired. We got nothing else to do. Yeah, we'll come on the board. And it's actually funny because one of them, Gail, is fully allergic to animals. So she's like, as long as I'm not touching the animals or anywhere near the animals, like I'll come, I'll give you my time. I'll go and I'll pass out, try to get fundraisers together or whatever you need me to do. Well, anyways, they joined this animal shelter that was just starting up. It was in a bad part of town. It was this little animal shelter. And long story short, they dove in deep and they became the president and secretary of this animal shelter, to the point where there was a new building that was built in Fall River. It's this thriving shelter. They brought it from this little place that could only, house 5 or 6 cats to this place now that houses, hundreds of cats and dogs. And they're saving animals' lives every single day. Little did they know that their job of being a school teacher would quickly turn into running and operating an animal shelter, which I sit on the board of directors of. It's a true story. And every single day, they're saving animals. So this is how our life purpose changes, right? We're meant to go through certain chapters of our lives. And what I want you to know as well is that the way that you can best serve yourself and understand what your life purpose is to really think back of what are the things that you do that nobody else can do like you. What if I could say you missed your calling in something? What would that be? Are you a natural singer, but no one's heard your voice? Are you a natural painter, but no one's seen your artwork? Are you someone that has always enjoyed cooking and baking and everybody compliments you on it and wants to learn from you? What is it that makes you you? Are you a natural guidance counselor, that you're talking people down from the ledge? Are you a natural healer? Are you a psychic medium? Are you an intuitive? Right? We all have certain gifts. Are you a soul coach? What is it? Are you attracted to children where you could just go and you just feel the need to help and love children? What is it that you feel in your heart? And here's another question that you can ask yourself, because it's all about asking yourself questions, right? And as a medium, when it comes to our life purpose, I feel my job is really digging in deep and pulling it out of you. So a good question that you can ask yourself is that if there's one thing that you have fun doing, that you could make money on, what would it be? If I could pay you to do something, right? If you could say, oh my God, this would be my dream job, I wouldn't even care. It'd be amazing. I would do it for free. What would it be? So for example, for me, that's how I started, right? I always felt I was always very intuitive. I was obviously psychic. I grew up seeing and hearing dead people, pushed it away for years and years, because I was afraid as a little kid. But then as I grew up, I also realized that it went far beyond just seeing and hearing dead people. I could feel and sense people on a different level. I could feel people's pain. I could feel people's emotions. I could feel people's energy just by sitting next to them. So I always felt like I had to be in the medical field. And I started my journey in the medical field as an EMT. Most people don't know this, but I worked for the World Trade Center in Boston as an EMT. Wow. And then I went back into my abilities myself. I went to see a medium for the first time, and I really wanted to discover what it was that I was pushing away. And then I realized, you know what? I can help people with this gift. So I started this out as a hobby. I just because I wanted to help people, I charged $20 in the beginning, going to people's houses, giving readings. And I said to myself, imagine if this could be a career. I never thought it would be possible. But I realized one thing. When I took that step and I went out and I started reading for people, heaven started helping me. Doors started opening. I started to ask to be on TV. I was asked to be on radio shows. And then very quickly I had to pivot from being an EMT to going out on the road and touring the country and writing books and sharing my gift. I was still aligning with my purpose of helping others as an EMT. I just wasn't quite where I needed to be. So the thing is that what's so beautiful is that heaven doesn't see the reason why it won't work. Only you do. Heaven sees the one reason why it's going to work. And that's what they're pushing you towards.
Wow. Well, you covered a lot of bases there. And it made me think again, and just to also relay, at 40, dark night of my soul, that relationship ended. I was really furious. I didn't know what I would do next with my life, career-wise, financially, romantically, but I knew I wanted to get busy. And while I circulated my accountant's resume and I considered irrigation repair, one of my passions, I knew, and it's always been true, that the thing that lit me up the most was my fascination with the nature of reality. Like, who are we? Why are we here? What can we do with our time and space? How would I make a living at that, given where my life was? I just started doing stuff. I started sending out a Monday morning motivator email. I started fixing up the website, getting credit card enabled. None of it was the life of my dreams, but I'll tell you, I woke up one day, 18 months later, and I was like, I'm living my dreams. And it began by starting out on sucky paths, my least sucky. That's sometimes where you're at. If you're in the bottom of the barrel, what are your options? Okay, they all suck. What are the least sucky? And for me, it made me think about, well, I would love to just go on and on about the nature of reality. So I'll do that for free by email and then figure it out. And man, it was like my career assembled itself around me through little baby steps that were not the life of my dreams, and they all seemed like they didn't pan out until all of a sudden they all played together in this symphony. And I was doing the same world tours and books. And so wherever you are, that's your starting point. And it might not be obvious. It wouldn't be, or you wouldn't be stuck. So just start doing stuff that makes some sense, that you would do for free, while you also knock on doors that might pay a minimum wage. And because you'll be moving, the scenery changed. I fell in love again. My life took off, and the rest is a fairy tale for me. And it looks like for you and your son, Royce, I was so pleased to read that. I know what it's like to be a dad. Finally, I know. And it's the greatest gift. Who thought? Who would have thought? But here's another question for you that you spoke to so articulately. Who do we meet in heaven, Matt?
Well, before we even get into that, I want to just dovetail off what you're saying, because it's so true. And I think we can learn a lot from failed relationships here in this world. Failed relationships, or any type of relationship, that's the hardest thing besides the death of a loved one that we go through. And for all of you here, I just want to talk about this because, Mike, you said it so perfectly, and I think that your story has to be shared. And I want to share with you my story as well, right? The biggest thing that we go through as humans, and the reason why our loved ones don't worry about us, is because here in this world, we have uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. So we panic, we worry, we stress. What if, right? But our loved ones can see what's going to happen for you 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. And that's why they're not stressing. When you were going through that hard time, Mike, and you were in that terrible relationship and you hit rock bottom and you finally got out, you were stressing. And you're like, I'm going to somehow figure it out. And your loved ones in heaven were like, wait till he sees what's coming for him. Wait till he sees what we have planned, right? And that's happening for every single one of you. So what I want people to know is that that same thing happened to me. And just want to share with you my story because it's kind of like yours, but a little bit different. So I was in a relationship with, a woman that was a great woman, nice person, wonderful person. But I just didn't love her the way that I should. And I was in the relationship, and it's like, it wasn't the type of love that, it was the same type of love that you would love your grandmother or your mom or your sister. It wasn't like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I don't want to say real love because that sounds so bad, but it just wasn't a different type of love, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being in this relationship and saying, Matt, like, what's wrong with you? Like, this person's a nice person. Like, you can have a family with this person. They check off all the boxes, but I just didn't feel it. And I was so afraid to let go of that relationship because I'm like, what if I sabotage this? And, I don't find, what if there's not something else out there? Well, anyway, long story short, I ended the relationship. And then, long story short, I left it with God. I left it in God's hands, in heaven's hands. And I'm like, I just felt so lost at that moment because I'm saying to myself, I was with this person. I wasn't finding love. What's going on? What's happening? And then, next thing you know, literally 4 weeks later, I met my wife today. And I remember when I saw her on Instagram, she popped up. I messaged her. I'm like, wow, this girl's great. She's got amazing energy. I texted her. I said, want to go for coffee? She didn't know me. I didn't know her. She agreed, right? We met for coffee. And the minute that she walked through the door, I was like, I felt something I've never felt before. Wow. And I was like, wow. At that moment, I realized true love really exists. It's a totally different love that I have for anybody else. Just like when my mom told me, she's like, Matt, when you have a son, when you have a child one day, it's going to be a very different type of love. And I thought it was just an expression until I held my son for the first time. And then I'm like, wow, this is a different type of love than I love my wife, my mom, my father. It's a totally different vibration. It's a totally different feeling. So what I want everyone to know is that if you feel like there's something better for you, if there's something else out there for you, then there is. And it's scary, right? It is really, really scary to take that first chance or that first step. Luckily, it was a little bit easier for me because I was younger, right? Some of you may be older and might be like, well, I don't really have much time. But what I want you to know is that things will happen, bing, bang, boom. I actually just gave this advice, and I want to share with you about this love because I just feel like we need to touch on this so much. There was a friend of mine, Alexa and I, she was in a relationship for a couple years. And she was with this man. He had already been married and divorced and had children, and she just loved him. And she was upfront with him, and she said, listen, I'm dating you, but I'm looking for love. I want to have my own kids. I want to get married. And he says, yeah. A couple of years go by. She says, where's this relationship going? And he broke up with her. He said to her, she goes, I want to get married. I want to have kids. She laid out her goals. She goes, if this isn't something for you, we got to go separate ways. I love you. I would love to have this life with you, but I'm getting older and I need to know that you're committed to me. Well, he broke up with her and she was so upset. She was so devastated because she gave up so many years of her life. Well, don't you know, he came back around and said a couple weeks later, he said, I made a mistake. I do want to marry you. I do want to have kids with you. She invited him back. So she's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Sticks with him another year. Same conversation. They come back. She goes, okay, it's been another year. I'm getting old. I'm not going to be able to have kids soon. Right? What's going to happen? He said, I'm sorry. He goes, I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids. So now they break up. She's devastated. She comes to me. She tells Alexa and I, she goes, I want a relationship like yours. She goes, what do I do? This is a true story. She goes, what do I do? And I said to her, she goes, do I just stay with this man? Because I feel like I'm older now. If I meet somebody, let's say, and she's like putting all these times and I'm with them for another 3 years. I'm not going to be able to have kids by that time. I'm going to be over 40. I said, listen, this man told you his intentions. Don't give up on your dream, right? Put yourself out there. I says, you have to let it go. So she let the relationship go. All of a sudden, I'm getting the chills. All of a sudden, just like Alexa and I, 4 weeks later, she meets a man, an amazing man. He's a pilot. He was looking for her. She was looking for him. They're already engaged. They're already getting married, and they're planning on having kids. And it happens under a year. And she's like, oh my God. And I said, look, you were saying that if you were going to be in another relationship, you're going to be with this person for 3 years. Then you're going to have to wait to get a ring. Then you have to wait to get married. But look, it didn't even happen that way. Heaven has a plan for you. So the thing is this, don't put time limits on yourself. Don't say it's going to take this long to get to a certain place, right? When things are meant to be, they're going to happen, and they're going to happen very quickly. So, Mike's living proof of that. I'm living proof of that. You too can be living proof of that. And really what I talk about in my book is this. Become your own success story, right? We're going to hit lows. We're going to hit bad chapters. We're going to hit certain moments of our life that we're going to regret, and we're going to look back and we're going to say, I was so effing stupid. But at the end of the day, this chapter is still being written, right?
Yes.
Become your own success story. If you fall down, make the next chapter about lifting yourself back up.
That's beautiful, Matt. Thank you so much. Okay, Matt, what do you think? Well, you can tell me later, who do we meet in heaven? But I would love to get somebody on screen right now and see what you might be able to pick up. You game?
Perfect.
All right, let's see who we got. Hi there, Donna.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Donna. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
All right, let's go ahead and roll with your question. And I just got to tell everyone that we bring on, try to keep the backstory as tight as possible so that we have more opportunity to help more folks. Go ahead,
hold
Donna.
on. Before we even begin, Donna, did you lose your father?
Lost my son.
Or your son? But wait, did your dad also pass as well?
Yes.
He's here. He's here with your son on the other side because he just said to me, I'm her father. Let her know that I'm here. He's also got your son here when I'm connecting. And I also just heard happy birthday the moment I came on. Whose birthday is it? Or just passed?
Mine was, oh, wow. Mine was in April, and Liam's, my son, was in January. Wow. Thank you. Wow.
Wait, I'm not even done yet. I'm just, because first of all, they're celebrating a birthday in heaven when I'm connecting, letting you know that they're all there. And when I'm connecting, first of all, this is a really tough reading to do because the moment I was connecting, your father was here and he was waving to me before he even said anything. He's like, that's my daughter. You're going to tell her that the son's here. And what I got to tell you is that, first of all, he's pushing your son forward because he just said to me, Matt, tell my mom that my mom is grieving too heavily over my passing. He was just young when he passed here in the physical world.
29.
Because when I'm speaking to him, he just said to me, Matt, he goes, you got to tell my mom. He says that, first of all, I want to thank her for always looking at my picture and talking to my picture. He says, and also at the same time, he tells me that there's still clothes that you have of his here in the physical world. So you have his shirts or different clothes of his?
Yes.
Know that he's thanking you for that? Your son just said to me this. He says, Matt, I was not supposed to die like this. He says, and the one thing that I want my mom to know, he says, is that on the other side, I don't want her to think of the day that I died, but to think of the way that I was here in this world. When I'm speaking to his soul, your son was the type of person that loved the outdoors, loved nature, loved being outside. And when I'm connecting with him in heaven, he shows me like hiking through the forest, like having bonfires. Like that's essentially who he was here in this world. And wait a minute, was he like obsessed with Jeeps here in this world?
No.
Or like off-roading vehicles? I see like it's going to be like Jeeps or trucks that I'm connecting with.
He loved nature. So not so much Jeeps and trucks.
Okay, when I'm connecting, this is what I see. It looks like when I'm connecting that he's in a Jeep and he always wanted this to go like off-roading or like.
Oh, yes, that might, yes, yeah.
He shows me, I'm going to show you what I see. I see
this
Jeep all covered in mud when I'm connecting with him.
Okay.
And he says to me, Matt, tell my mom I didn't lose who I was on the other side. But the one thing that I'm also seeing with him is he also tells me before he died, he was going through a depression or there was anxiety that he was dealing with before his passing.
Correct.
And he said to me that that's what led up to his passing here in the physical world.
Okay.
So know that one of the things that I need you to know is this, is that even though he was having anxiety and stress, and that's one of the things that you witnessed before his passing, he just said to me, Matt, I'm here to show my mom that I'm in heaven and I'm doing all of these things that I don't want her to think of me as being that person I was before I died. I don't want her to think of me as being anxious, being stressed, being nervous. I want her to know that I'm completely fine in heaven. And he's also got all these animals with him when I'm connecting with him as well, because he loved the animals when I'm speaking to him.
Yes.
And
Yeah. He loved animals. So we have his 2 dogs here. We've got them with us. But yes, he loved animals.
Is he? And wait a minute. Is there also? I also keep hearing the name. Is there Brian or Ryan?
Yes. That was a love of his here.
Okay. Because he keeps telling me he's watching over Brian. He's watching over Brian. And he's whispering that in my ear.
Okay. Thank you.
So no, it's his way of just validating that because the souls will actually whisper names to me and tell me little things. And he just said, if you could see your son right now, he said to me, Matt, you need to tell my mom that I am completely fine. And he wants to thank you for not only just being his mother, but being his greatest teacher and support system. He
Oh.
says, because Mom, I couldn't have done life without you. He actually tells me one other thing. Hold on. Are you like making a book of his life or like writing in a journal?
Yes. Yeah.
He just said to me, thank you for sharing my stories.
Wow. Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
So every day that you write things down and you journal and you speak and you do all of these things, know it's his way of letting you know in spirit that he's still a part of your life. That's what he's trying to show you. And don't think of the day that he died. Know that he is that he is just the same person that you loved and cared about here in this world, and that he is living his best life on the other side. And I wish you guys could see what I see. Like, I wish I could give you my eyes so you could see your son. When I tell you, it looks like he's in like this tropical forest, and I see him like in this Jeep and like going down trails, and like then I see him like hiking up this mountain. Like, that was his essence. That's what he loved, and that's what his heaven is like on the other side.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
He said to me, he goes, Matt, he goes, tell my mom, he goes, my heaven's all nature, no beer, he says. So did you still like drink beer here in the physical world as well?
Yeah. With his dad.
Because he says to me, he goes, I'm doing everything but the beer. That's what he tells me.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Does he have any other, thank you so much for this. This was just incredibly, just thank you. It means so much. Does he have any other, anything that he feels that I either should know or should be doing?
No, he tells me this. Your son tells me that you knew him through and through. And at the end of the day, since his passing, he tells me every day you live life for him. And you think, what would my son want me to do? What would he like? What would he appreciate? And he even shows me, like, there's times when you'll just like go out in nature and take walks and talk with him and speak with him. He says to me that he already has that time with you in spirit. He says, but what he doesn't get to show you during that time when he hears from you is about what he's doing and how he's feeling on the other side. So this is his way of just acknowledging that to you and letting you know that on the other side, he is completely fine and he's always by your side.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Hold on, I gotta fix my screen here. I don't know what the hell I did. I pressed the button now, and now. All right, there we go.
Great. Thank you, Donna, for sharing, Matt. That was really cool. That was so awesome. Tell us who we meet in heaven while they load up the next person. And everybody, if you've got questions, if you'd like to be on screen, just put your question or quick summary in the chat right now.
So I think that that's really what answers the question, right? Just like her son was here and showed us that he met his grandfather in heaven, right? That all happens with us. We meet our spirit guide, our guardian angel, our pets, our friends, our family. Heaven is not a place that separates us. It's a place that reunites us.
Oh, and everybody goes to heaven? Pretty much?
Yes. Well, wait a minute. Everyone goes to heaven unless you're pure evil, right? Unless you did terrible, horrible things like killing someone, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, now we've got Shell. How are you, Shell?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you. How are you?
I'm good. I
have a couple. Wait a minute. Don't even start. Yeah, I'm already hearing things. Now, wait a minute. Did your mom pass here in the physical?
Yeah, 3 years ago.
She's here because she just said to me, she's looking for me. She's looking for me. And when I was connecting with you, your mother was right behind you. She shows me when I'm connecting with her. She had major illness here in the physical world before her passing. And she's also telling me that that you had hoped that she was going to recover from this or that she was going to be able to bounce back. But your mother just said to me that it went to her head or started to affect her head before she died.
Oh, thank you.
She just said to me, Matt, please tell my daughter that I am completely fine. Please tell my daughter that I am okay. And more importantly, your mom tells me that you need to release the guilt. She tells me that you go through every day and saying, like, I wish that I would have taken better care of her. I wish I would have gotten to do this for her. Your mom says to me, let it go. You got to tell her to let it go. Now, I'm also going to bring something up that's very personal, but I have to acknowledge it. She's also showing me a baby that passed as well, like a miscarriage or a soul that didn't make it here in the physical world.
I didn't have a miscarriage. I'm wondering if it's my mom's pain. See, my mom and I had a really hard relationship.
Well, wait. No. I see that there was you're switching on me. I see that there was stay with me for a minute. I see that there was a baby that did not make it here in this world. So that shows me that your mom either had a miscarriage or somebody lost this child.
My mom did. my mom
Oh,
had a
hello. Pay
miscarriage.
attention. This is why I don't filter the messages. I know what the spirits are telling me and what they see. And I also know that, listen, this is why your loved ones tell me to tell you certain things. The fact that you have this regret and this hurt because, some of your life with your mom, your relationship with your mom may not have been the way that you wanted it to be. Your mom is telling you, release it. She's also telling me when she was here, and this is also very tough. Can I be honest with you? Can I tell you everything that I'm seeing?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to be completely open and honest. I don't sugarcoat. I got to tell you everything they tell me. And I also felt, because your mom kept telling me her head. And I felt that there was some type of a mental imbalance that she was going through. So when she was here, she was either battling with depression, bipolar. There was something that was there with her that stopped her from fully expressing herself, loving you and loving herself here. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
And she said to me, I didn't realize it until I got to the other side. So know that this is why your mom's saying release the guilt. Because I'm going to be honest with you. She shows me that it was very hard for you to be there for her. She shows me that many times you were going and trying to help your mom and be there for your mom. And then when you did this, you're like, wait a minute. Every time I get close to this woman, she hurts me. Every time I get close to this woman, I end up getting hurt. Your mom says to me, I know what you did for me. She says, and I watch over you every day. And your mom just told me something else. Sorry, I hate to put all your personal stuff on here, but I have to, because that's what the souls tell me. They tell me everything, and I got to tell you everything. Your mom also tells me that you've been dealing with some health struggles recently within your own life. And your mother says to me that the one thing that she wants you to know is that she's helping you with everything.
Okay.
All right. So know that you don't have to worry. Sometimes when someone does us wrong, or when someone does us wrong, or when someone goes and when our relationship isn't good with someone, on the other side, our loved ones come back to us, and the way that they come back is they come back and watch over us, either as a special angel within our life, or that they help to open doors, and that's what your mom is doing here and now.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome.
Thank you.
Oh. Shell, thank you for sharing, bearing your heart and soul. Your mom loves you.
Oh,
Yeah, that was beautiful. All right, we're going to take another couple of folks. Post your questions below. And let me just tell all of you who are new here, I know that we opened this up to the public. We want to kind of show off what we're doing at the Mike Dooley Network. We meet every single Thursday. Every Thursday is different. First Thursday of the month, speed coaching, where I give rapid fire answers to as many people as I can, in the dozens. Second Thursday of the month, we do life wake-up calls, where I get together and with maybe 3 live participants, and we share. Third Thursdays, this is the first third Thursday where we bring on very esteemed guests to rock our world and blow our minds. Fourth Thursday, which is next week, there's going to be lots of swag, fun, sharing, getting you on screen, and a raffle for a virtual coffee with yours truly. So if this resonates with you and you might like to join us on all Thursdays going forward, simply go to MikeDooleyNetwork.com. MikeDooleyNetwork, one word.com. And now we've got Lacey. Thank you for your courage, Lacey. How are you?
My heart, I think my watch thinks I'm having a heart attack.
Well, listen, the good news is I was an EMT. So if you pass out, I'm going to revive you, all right? If you die, I'm just going to talk to you. So you are in the best place right now. Nothing's going to happen to you. I'm happy that you're here. And where are you from, by the way?
A lot of places. I'm born in California.
But where are you right now in the world?
Las Vegas.
You're
my
Las
husband,
Vegas?
Henderson,
Hold on, wait a minute. I'm trying to fix my screen,
Yeah.
you guys. Every time it keeps changing the size on me every time a guest comes out. All right, perfect. So, first of all, I'm coming to Las Vegas. I'm going to be in your neck of the woods. I'm actually coming to the Venetian in Las Vegas for 2 nights in October, so I hope I get to meet you in person.
Oh my gosh, I would come in a heartbeat.
Well, listen, there's some tickets available, so I hope you do. I want to let you know that, first of all, there's a soul that's here right away that I keep hearing that keeps saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And when I'm connecting, I kept hearing that there was questions over addictions and there was questions over their passing here in the physical.
Yeah.
What's that to you?
Here, Ivy. When you said that, These pictures literally fell off my desk. They literally fell on the ground. And it's my stepbrother. They said it was suicide and they said it was drugs. But I've gotten messages that it wasn't.
He's here. He just said to me, I'm sorry. And when I'm connecting with him, there's more to the story with his passing. He just said to me when I'm speaking to him, Matt, you need to tell her that, first of all, I'm sorry for the fighting that happened before I died. I'm sorry for what I put my family through, because when I'm connecting with him, he tells me that, first of all, what really caused his passing, what really was going on with him, is he tells me that he had a lot of issues with his moods here in this world. When I'm connecting with his soul, he tells me that his moods were up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And he tells me that when he was here, he goes, Matt, he says, I pushed away the people in my life that truly loved and cared about me. Was there a point where like he was almost homeless or didn't know where to live? It's okay.
Yeah, in the love of his life actually took him in, and somebody talked to him and said, hey, I know this boy, this young man, and he's got nowhere to go. Would you take a roommate? And he took a roommate, and they had the most beautiful life, and I do believe that they were the best years of his life, the last couple years of his life, and that's why it doesn't make sense to me that he would end his life. It doesn't make any sense at all. And he took his dog with him.
I don't want to know any information about you. If you guys listen to how I do my readings, I don't ask you anything. I tell you, because the souls tell me, right? And what I want to let you know is this: I don't want any information about your loved ones. What I'm going to tell you is that I know the truth on how he had died, because he's here to tell me. And he just said to me when I'm connecting, Matt, I didn't know what I was doing. That's what he tells me. When I'm speaking to him, he said to me before his death, he went down a wrong road. I just saw it. Oh my God, wait a minute. He had taken drugs before his passing here in the physical world. He's showing me this. And whatever he had taken had some type of like hallucinogenic effects on him. Because he said to me, I wasn't used to this. I feel when I'm connecting with him that what he was taking may have been laced with something, because he keeps telling me I didn't know what I was taking. So know that one of the things that I need you to know is that he did not in consciousness mean to end his life. He says, I would have never done this. And I don't always get to say that news. He says that when whatever he had taken, whatever had happened that day, he goes, I didn't even realize I died, Matt. He goes, it was like I was in a dream. That's what he tells me. He says, I felt like I was living this life for these things that were around. And he goes, and I didn't even know what was happening. So know it's his way of bringing that through, and know it's his way of acknowledging that from the other side. He just said to me, Matt, I'm sorry for what this did to the family. I'm sorry what this did to her. He says, I want to let her know that in spirit, I am watching over her. I am by her side. And I want her to know that I'm always and forever going to be watching over her in the afterlife. He wants to thank you for those pictures that you just printed out. And that's crazy that as I was reading you, those pictures fell. Right? It's his way of truly showing you that he's there. And you know one of the signs that he sends you? He just said to me, tell her I come to her in music.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea.
I know. That's what I love about my job as a medium. I know.
Wow. Wow, Lacey, thank you for sharing and bearing.
So listen, I really hope that this gives you the notice of, listen, he doesn't stay here with me. At the end of this event, right, he goes home with you. And he's going to find new ways to reach out to you, connect with you, speak with you. You know, and he just wants to let you know that he's always going to be a part of your life. But you know, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you. There's still a big piece of you that needs to heal from this. When I'm connecting with you, and at the moment I saw you up on screen and his soul came through, I see that there's just this dark spot of your heart that's never been healed since his passing. And he says to me, don't let my death change her, Matt. Don't let it change the family dynamic. He says, I'm relying on her to keep everybody together. He says, don't be afraid to reach out to the family, to hold on to those relationships, to talk about him, to do what you do. He says, because the one thing that he needs to let you know is that he is in peace. And you were praying for this, because he tells me that every single day Listen to me really quick, so I don't want to lose you. This is a really important part of the message. He says to me, every single day, you go back through your life and you say to me, I just need to know the truth. I need to know the truth. Because you felt him, you knew him through and through. You felt like this was like he didn't mean to do this. And he's here today to validate that for you so you can let go of it. So as much as
thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Oh my God, I wish I could come through the screen and hug you. And as much as I'd like to do more readings, Mike, I do have to save my energy because tonight I'm doing online readings. So that being said, I want to go back into the conversation if we can, because I feel myself getting drained and I don't want to. I have to save my energy for tonight because tonight I'm giving live readings online on my own platform. So.
All right. What is your platform, Matt?
Thank you.
So on my website, so if you go to my website, meetmattfraser.com, I do online readings like this all the time. So we have an online reading that's happening tonight. It's sold out. I can only allow a limited amount of people. So tonight's online reading is sold out. But I have 2 online readings I'm doing. September 27th, me and my mom are going to be giving readings together because my mom's also a medium. So we're going to be live online doing angel readings. That's September 27th. And angels have messages just like your loved ones. And then on October 1st, it's going to be me giving readings online to people who have lost loved ones. And it's amazing. I've been able to read over 2,000 people just online on my website. I try to keep it affordable. It's only $22 to sign up. And it's happening on October. The next one is October 1st. Everything else is sold out.
Wow. Okay, so check them out, everybody. And I think we got time for one more. Matt, you good? You're gonna hold up?
No, I would like to save my energy for tonight because the thing is that being a medium, right? You gotta know that when it comes to the readings, as much as I would love to do this all day long, right? What happens is that I also have to make sure that I'm saving my energy because tonight I'm gonna contact family after family after family after family. So I, in all honesty, I have to make sure I keep my energy good for the people that are also seeing me tonight.
Well, you've been a trooper. We thank you deeply. Matt Fraser, author of Don't Wait Till You're Dead. Everybody, you're watching MikeDooleyNetwork.com, MikeDooleyNetwork.com. Next week, we're going to have a lot of fun as well. Win a free virtual coffee with me and lots of other swag. I think we are at closing time. Is there any other important message you would like to share from your book or from your heart right now, Matt, for those watching?
Yeah, I mean, listen, just like what I really want people to know is that as a medium, I don't bring your loved ones to you. You bring your loved ones to me. And what's really beautiful is that when you see me do these readings, right, your loved ones are already there. If Lacey wasn't here today, there would be no way I could connect with her stepbrother, right? He wouldn't come to me because he's not around me, he's around her. So no matter where you go, your loved ones are with you. And being a medium isn't just my job, it's my life. I do readings all day long, just like you see me do on television. When I'm out at the store, if there's a person who had lost their sister or their brother, I'm running up to them and saying, excuse me, I have a message from your sister. If someone lost their ex-husband or their ex-wife, I'm running up to them and delivering a message, whether they want to hear it or not. Because the thing is that at the end of the day, the reason why souls come through is they have messages for you. And what I really want the readings to do isn't just to deliver messages. I really want to show people that at the end of the day, you can have your conversations with your loved ones. Your loved ones are already there. They're with you. And it happens all the time when I'm live on tour. So when I'm live on tour, for example, I'm coming to Las Vegas and California and Canada and all these places. Next week, I'm in Pennsylvania and Ohio. What I want people to realize is that when I walk into an audience, like when I'm doing a live show and we do sound check, it's the coolest thing. Because when I walk into the auditorium, no one's there. There's not a single soul that's present. The room is quiet. Everything's quiet and peaceful. But the moment that I start my show and everybody comes and takes their seats, it's like being in a crowded restaurant. I'm hearing all of your loved ones in spirit because they are with you every day. You bring them no matter where you go. And they're closer to you now than they even were here in this world. They're sitting beside you as you go and you get your coffee. They're on the side of you when you're checking out at the cash register at the supermarket. They're at home with you when you're reading that book. And they truly are a part of your life. And they're not just watching over you. They actively want to be a part of your life. They actively want to show you that they're there and with you. And that's where I come in as a medium. And that's why they use me to deliver their messages.
Well, you do such a great job, Matt. And you've got such a kind heart. Thank you so much for being with us. Congratulations on your new book and all the successes you found professionally and with your family and Royce. Thank your team for being so helpful. And Happy everything forever and ever, brother.
Well, thank you so much. It was really cool being on here, and thank you guys so much for all you guys who joined the show, who watched today, and thank you, Mike, so much for having me on and sharing your audience with me. I really, really enjoyed meeting all of you.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Take care.
All right, you too.